what is the summit about?
So this was a summit about child poverty. It's something that we organised some weeks ago, knowing that the budget was coming, and that that was obviously going to have a big impact on hard-working families across the constituency of Aberavon, particularly through the reduction in working families' tax credits, which would push more people into poverty. So the starting point for the summit really was to say, let's accept the fact that these cuts are coming down the line, that's going to make life even more difficult for many families than is already the case. And what can we do, and what can I do as the Member of Parliament to help to mitigate the impact of some of those cuts? So what we did was brought together a very broad range of experts in the area. We had people here from Action for Children Wales, Children in Wales, Barnardo's Cymru, we had the Family and Childcare Trust, we had representatives of Neath Port Talbot County Borough Council, focused particularly on social care and children, and other key representatives, also people here from the Council for Voluntary Services. So it was about bringing that wide range of stakeholders together to have a discussion about, are all of the different agencies working together in the most effective possible way, and could I, as the MP, help to improve working across different areas, to not only to help the services that are already being delivered for those who are in poverty and are already on the radar, if you like, of the local authority, but also helping to identify new people that are going to be falling into poverty as a result of the budget, and what we could do to be better at identifying those people, to some extent also removing the stigma so that they come forward and ask for advice and support, and then working together as a team to address those issues.
Okay. And what are the next steps as a result of the summit?
So this was a first brainstorming in many ways, but we did identify a number of areas where we could work together to improve things. One would be around particularly financial training and understanding how to manage personal finances. I think particularly with universal credit coming down the line, that's going to change the way in which benefits are delivered. It's going to put more responsibility on people to manage their own finances, and the question is really, are they ready to do that, and what support and advice could be provided through some of the real experts that we had in the room. So one of the action points was to talk more about a training provision for people to better understand their personal finances. Another opportunity that we identified was for looking to work a bit more with the private sector. So one of the colleagues there talked about some very good work that had happened with Barclays Bank about, again, on helping on financial training. So reaching out to the private sector was another part of it. The other was really getting more smaller satellite centres actually in communities, so that you could work more closely between schools and the social services to identify what you might consider as children that are at risk now of going into poverty, knowing what the schools know about those kids, getting engaged with those kids, and looking to work with families so that you've got the best possible support and advice for people. Because what we're going to see, I think, is a big increase in the number of new people who are going to fall into difficulty because of these changes. And of course what we are seeing is an increase in the number of people who are in work and in poverty. So it's the working poor that we're looking particularly to be better at identifying who they are and how we should work with them.
Do you have any local figures with regards to child poverty?
Yes, we did do some quite in-depth research. I can say that for in Aberavon, the constituency, we estimate there are 3,910 children living in poverty, and poverty is defined as incomes that are below 60% of the national average. That equates to 27.8% of children in Aberavon who are living in poverty. Aberavon is out of the 650 constituencies there are in the United Kingdom. Aberavon is 74th in terms of child poverty, with number 1 being the worst, of course. So a range of statistics. We also had a breakdown of the constituency by ward, which showed that, for example, the Briton Ferry West ward, were 51% of children living in that ward are living in poverty, as defined by the 60% threshold. So, you know, we see that we've got some major challenges, and those challenges are going to increase as a result of this Chancellor's budget.
Do you have any case studies then you could share with us?
The group came forward with a number of examples. One of the very interesting case studies was this mention of the work that has been done with Barclays Bank, helping on financial services, financial management of your own personal finances. Another good case study was actually by the official who was here representing Neath Port Talbot County Borough Council, where they've created something called Around the Family Team, which is a team of council officials from different parts of the council, so health, education, social services, working in an integrated way to support families that fall into poverty. So that's, I think, a great study of some of the very good work that's been happening in Neath Port Talbot County Borough Council. So we had a number of useful case studies, and really it was about case studies that can help us to identify areas of best practice. So we shouldn't be reinventing the wheel. We should be looking at what works and building on that. And those case studies were actually very positive and very encouraging. The challenges with the reduction in resources that the council will have, because of course there'll be pretty big cuts to local authority funding coming down as another part of the budget. How will you be able to spread the resources around a growing number of people falling into poverty? And there I think the only answer is partnership between the local authority and the representatives of civil society we had in the room today. And I very much hope that I can potentially play a role in continuing that dialogue between the local authority and those stakeholders, so that we can get a partnership going. And I think it's the only way in an age of austerity. We can't just sit back and tear out our hair and say that something must be done. We actually need to roll up our sleeves and get something done.
Okay.
Thank you.